There's a lot of activity over here today. People are walking their dogs much earlier because of obviously the heat, but hopefully, I don't really check the weather, to be honest with you, but I've got a feeling we might be seeing the end of this extraordinary heat that we've had. So, and also in line with that, I'm going to be talking today H2O, water. So this is my water kit. What I've found over the years of walking, etc., is the weight of water. I think a kilo of water is 1 litre of water. So there's a rhyme in there somewhere, isn't it? But yeah, so get it the other way around. A litre of water weighs a kilo, which if you're going for a long walk, especially in the summer, you know, you're looking at 3 kilos of weight, which is quite a lot on your back or satchel or whatever it is that you're carrying, you know. But you know, so it's nice to, I found personally, find another means to, you know, always take a litre of fresh water, but then if it's hot. So what I've got in here, let me show you inside. So first of all, we've got the Sawyer, that's the mini water filter, and I'm going to show you all these. And unusually, I'm going to do this video, I'm going to, you know, because usually I've tried to do these videos in just one take. Not to say that I haven't sort of started them again, but there hasn't been any editing as such in my videos. But this one, because it will be too awkward for me to, you know, explain and crouch down by the river, pond or whatever. In this instance, a lake. It's a pond, I suppose. Anyway, so I'm going to show you how they work to an extent. But obviously, I'm not going to boil any water because, you know, there's still no fires outside or naked flames really as such. So anyway, the Sawyer water filter. This has been my go-to for years now. I remember 30 years ago, survival straws. Big sort of, but anyway, so yeah, this is what I use. This is what comes with it in the kit. So this is the mini. I think these are around about 25 quid. I've seen them recently, like on eBay for 18, 15 quid, which I'm like, that seems too cheap, really. I don't know. I personally, I wouldn't buy one off eBay for 15 quid. So this, I'm sure it will work for up to like 500,000 litres of water will be able to go through this filter. And they say it's sort of almost designed like a kidney, because inside this little plastic tube, it's like fibre, like enough to fill Wembley Stadium, obviously. I'm exaggerating. Packed in there, and that's what filters 99.99% of all nasties in the water, apart from, I think they're talking about chemicals and poisons and things like that, but you know, all the cryptosporidiums and all the things that are going to give you the shits, basically, in the water, or worse, this will filter all of them. And I'll show you it working. And this is probably, because I had one that blocked up, and they also send you like a syringe for like flushing it back washing it through, and you'll be surprised what comes out of it. But I had one that blocked up. I'm not sure why it blocked up, to be honest with you, but it did block up. Anyway, so this is my second one that I've bought. I don't use this. I don't use these. Simple fact, I think they're okay, but they're just a bit small for me. What I use is a C-Knock bag. Now that looks grubby for the simple fact that that's for dirty water. That's like I drink out of troughs and stuff like that, you know, when you're walking across sort of farmland and stuff like that, and that like water's got green, and like ponds, you know, that's sort of rats and stuff in there, which is, you know, you never want to be drinking, even river water really, because you don't know what's upstream that's died, you know. So I personally wouldn't drink any unfiltered, unboiled, unsterilised water outside at all, because I can tell you a story. I was drinking water from a trough, and I had it in here, my dirty, and you screw this to the bottom. So and I'll just hang it up somewhere. You know, you can get a little fork stick or whatever, and I'll hang it up, and it will drip through. Or if I'm in a hurry, you can put a bit of pressure and squeeze. But I remember I had a water bottle, and I took this out of the trough, and I noticed that I don't think this was quite done up properly. You know, I was watching it, and I saw possibly 2 drops of water come from here, so unfiltered, into the water bottle. And I didn't take much notice of it. I thought, well, look. So obviously I tied it up and carried on. I drank the water, and within, I would say, 10 minutes, I was in trouble. I was in trouble within 10 minutes. My stomach was boiling. So that showed, and I had to evacuate to a hedge quickly. And it's a good job where I was. There was, you know, it was sparsely populated, and it was grim. And that just shows how toxic. What's that going on over there? That just shows how there was something in that water. Of course there is. You know, there's like animals got their mushes in there drinking their saliva, and there's fucking flies and stuff like that. But it just goes to show how toxic that water was, and how quickly it worked its way through me, and how quickly I expelled everything in a fucking grim factor. So that then made me much more wary about making sure that's done up, making sure when I take that out, I shake the bag so no drips of water will come off this and go into my clean water. So that's why that's dirty. I think I've cleaned it out with a bit of bleach before, but I don't bother. And these are quite expensive. This is a 2 litre one. I believe these are about 25 quid. You think that's expensive? It is expensive for basically what is a rubber bag. But I've had this, I think, for 7 or 8 years now, and it's strong and it's good, and it's been in rivers and it's been caught up and sort of stuff like that. So I would thoroughly recommend. I'm not selling anything, you know. My channel's got 50 subscribers. No one's taking notice of me. But personally, these I found are brilliant to go with this. But I'll show you this working. Then you've got, these are good. I don't use it that often, but I have used it. It's called a Millbank bag. I'm sure it had something to do with the Second World War. And it's basically, if you've got like grubby water, it's got instructions on the side. So you get this, it's just a canvas bag. And you basically just dip this into the water, and you make it all wet first of all. Then you scoop water up in this, and you hang it up. And the water that drips out the bottom is obviously a lot cleaner. There's something over there. It's obviously a lot cleaner, and it just catches all the crud and the bits and stuff like that. But then you still have to boil the water or like sterilise it afterwards. But what it will do, it will take all the detritus and lumps and bits of bark and dead animals and stuff out of the water, because you don't want to be drinking water with bits in it. Even if it's safe to drink, you don't want to be drinking water with bits in it. So this is like the pre-boil or the pre-sterilisation of the water. Not pre-filtering, because you don't have to do it before you filter. But they're good. I don't know how much they're off. I think they're 15 quid. But I like them. I suppose Millbank might have been. I don't know if that's the dude who invented it. But I'll show you. Is there any point in me showing you? I don't think there's any point in me showing you this working, because I'll basically just be putting water in it. And it drips through the bottom. And that will drip through the bottom into your billy can or whatever. You know, either you sterilise it or you boil it. I think, you know, it's safe. I usually boil water like that for 2 minutes. I say a minute, but I usually give it a rolling boil for 2 minutes, and that's like super safe then. But they're fun. I won't show you using it because there's no point. I can't boil any water because obviously there's no fires. And then we've got the chlorine tablets, the sterilisation tablets. I think it's 1 tablet per litre, or if it's really filthy, manky looking water, maybe put 2 in. If it's not too bad, wait 10 minutes. If it's really manky, put 2 in. Wait half an hour. You can wait half an hour anyway. And then there you are. You know, they're the basic, aren't they? So that's the basics. So it's funny talking about water at the moment, because obviously there's hose pipe bans and we haven't had any water drop out of our sky, but it looks a bit grey today. I'm looking forward to a bit of rain. You know, when you look around the woods, the leaves are dropping, which is, you know, that's a defence for trees and drought. They will drop leaves. And the rhododendrons are suffering. I took some photos actually of the rhododendrons. They're like closed up. They look. I don't think anyone's too. But I like rhododendrons, but I don't think like natural England like them very much, because they always seem to be clearing them out because they're invasive. Brought over in the Victorian times by the plant hunters. Used to go out to the Himalayas and stuff and bring back all this stuff. So that's it really. That's what I'm going to talk about, water. It's not a particularly long video again, but I'm going to cut the video and I'm going to unusually shoot another scene with me showing you the water filter being used, which is a first for me in this sort of as a newbie in all this. Anyway, so watch this space. Right, if you just watch me fold in this manky looking water, it should probably make a good video actually, won't it? Right, so I'm going to show you. There's a couple of methods, especially when it's like this. So things you want to try and get as little possible bits like leaves and just filth in there really. So there's like scum or stuff on the top. You want to sort of just get yourself a stick, brush it away, but you don't want to be stirring up the bottom of the water. So you want to, you can just simply go, like this, scoop some water in. Look at the colour of that. And what you do with this bag is fold it over like that. It's got a really good sort of seal on the top, and you just seal it up. Now, I wouldn't, that's, see, it's dripping out. See, I wouldn't carry water like that in my rucksack. I wouldn't fill that up and trust that in my rucksack. On the outside it'd be fine, wouldn't it? You can clip it. I've got a carabiner on there. You can clip that on the outside of your rucksack, so you can fill that up and then walk back to where you are set up. Or you can just do it, I usually do it sort of very near where I collect the water. So you can do it like that. And I'll show you. So I'm going to do this in 3 parts I made in this video. So get rid of that. And if it's like a river, sometimes you'll come across a river, or you can't actually get down to the water, you can get yourself a stick the right size. Make sure you don't want sharp edge, so it punches it. We're gonna open it up like that at the top, and then always got a bit of, obviously not a knot, overhand knot, one of the simplest knots. Carabiner, you don't need all that, and you can just go in. So that's good for a river. It's good for water if it's down, you can't get near it, but usually I've used that for rivers really. You know what I mean? But I suppose there is situations with lakes. So then we've got our water in the bag. Seal it up. It's in there now. Look at the colour of that. That's rotten, isn't it? This water smells. There's a lot of tannins from the wood and sort of stuff in there. It's not. Anyway, so now I'm going to cut the video again, and then I'm going to show you filtering. So, isn't this exciting? Right, let's do a bit of filtering. So, got the water, which I think we can all agree looks thoroughly unpleasant and unpalatable. Let's take that off. And then I'll get the filter. And remember what I said about the trough incident? Shake that off. Don't want any debris, drips. Make sure that's sealed up properly. We don't want anything that's in that lake falling into the clean water pot. That can cause all sorts of trouble. Screw the filter on properly. Don't over tighten it, don't need, but just make sure it's on there properly. Again, do this not over your clean pot or bottle, whatever you're going to put the water into. Can you see there's a few drips come off then? Take the lid off, and there's the filtered water. That's how quick it is. So it wouldn't take long to run through a litre of this if you're going to be cooking or just getting some drinking water. I can show you into this little receptacle that I brought with me, and we can see much cleaner that water is compared to, so it's perfectly fine to drink. Tastes like I'm used to, you know, it won't taste like bottled water. It doesn't taste horrible. It just tastes like water, really. But certain waters, certain places will have a different taste. It's not completely crystal clear, but then because it's not removing tannins and things like that. It's just removing the nasties, the parasites, the bugs, all the stuff that's going to upset you. And that's it. So it's that simple. 25 quid. It's like I say, these bags, you don't have to get one of these sea knock bags, but I'd recommend them. I don't think the bags that come with are very good. I don't think they're very good. I don't think I've ever used them. It's got instructions on anyway, but you know, each to their own. As I've said before, I'm not telling anyone what to do, how to behave. I'm just offering my advice, my personal advice from the years. And that's it. So I think the sun's going to come out. It's a bit grey. I was hoping we was going to get a bit of rain, dampen everything down, and then we can do some cooking. We can do some cooking in the woods, which I've missed. I've literally not done any for months because it's been so hot and wouldn't dare light a fire. So cheers, happy Sunday. What I must say, because YouTube algorithms tell on the YouTube studio, it's called, it tells you gives you little hints, you know. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed what I've shown you, what I tell you. Like and subscribe because it helps YouTube's algorithm push my channel, and then I'll get more viewers, etc., which helps. Happy Sunday. Cheers.